All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for our first Showdown Round 2 show of the season. Hoopster and myself here on the Mail Media Network. If you're just joining us, do us a favor on the way in, smash that like, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet done so, go to the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. Our guy, Degenerate75, will have his Round 3 Showdown show on his channel, the DGen75 channel, and then Round 4 will be on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. So if you want more of this free content, more of these showdown shows, make sure to get on out there and get that done for us. We do appreciate it. We are going to be giving away a $100 single entry ticket tonight, along with a 1-month membership, all access, that is, for a random person in the chat. Maybe someone will get a little contest going. Let us know in the chat why you want to get the 1-month membership. We'll get most of the stuff out of the way quickly. Happy National Margarita Day to anybody who celebrates. By the way, I actually polished mine off before the show. I couldn't wait. But in Mexico, Mexico Open, we got to get to it. So we're going to break it all down. We saw some stuff with the scoring today. Got to go through like we always do. We'll bring up the solver. We don't have our projections and ownership in there yet, but it's good still to see for the tee times, all that. That will be updated here shortly this evening. Hoopster, going to bring you in, man. What's going on? First time doing the Round 2 show to start this thing off.
Yeah, so we'll be riding here Thursday evening, basically Thursday night for the remainder of the season for Round 2, and then our guy Degen has Round 3 and 4 covered. So we have you covered all the way through these PGA slates, which continue to just grow in popularity. I mean, PGA in terms of DFS sports growing, I mean, it seems to be at the top of the list. Obviously, NFL is always going to be king in what we do, but man, PGA is growing. The contests are nice every week. They're starting to get these payout structures that are a little more balanced, not as top heavy, which, you know, as a professional player, we've been calling for this for a while. So it's nice to see. And the best part about it in terms of what we offer at SHIPIT Nation is, man, our PGA product is tough to beat at this point in terms of what we offer and the price tag. Like it is industry leading in terms of the content, and it's industry leading in terms of the value that you get with the price tag. So, you know, in regards to all that, excited to be back and doing these shows, man. And we did them all last season. The partnership with Degen is going to be big for everyone out there. You get so much content for the classic or the main slate, and then you get a ton for Round 2, Round 3, Round 4. This is the spot to be if you're looking for PGA content. There's literally zero doubt about it.
Yeah, he's the king of Showdown. The Showdown Hoedown was originated from him. Obviously, that's why you see those logos up at the top. So more on that in a minute. Shout out to our guy Go Collect. I bet Mayo celebrated Margarita Day. Yeah, he's down there living the dream, just having his vacation. I'm not sure. I think he's in Aruba, I want to say, but definitely looks like he's having a good time. And I got to say this off the top. First off, we always like to hit the first comment in the chat. It's our guy Stewie. Let's go. He says, and then enough is enough, right? We're giving away 2 monthly memberships. The first one I'm giving away, Stewie, it's time to get you in there, my friend. Hit me up. You got me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Hit me up there. I'll get you the code tonight. We're going to get Stewie into the Discord, get him rolling for a month, see what he thinks. He's been hitting us up forever, always supportive of everybody out there. I didn't even know. And if it's been this long, we got to get Stewie into the Discord. So Stewie, we're still going to give away a 1-month membership to everybody else. But look, Kevin knows right here. He's a sweaty tryhard. If not, I'll donate. We got it, Kevin. We appreciate Kevin as always too. I know he's looking for this to happen tomorrow. His guy, Biondi, trying to get him to go off tomorrow in Round 2, but we'll get there. First day, everything you saw. I mean, EVR. Where's our guy Rin? I'm sure he'll be in the chat here soon just to bring it up. But he kept saying, "Did you see the $9,500 range this week? There's some studs, or there's a stud in there, and there was only one guy. It was EVR, of course. Just goes absolutely off in Round 1. What's your first thoughts here, seeing this first round in Mexico?"
Yeah, the EVR stuff is funny, man. I just can never figure out. So obviously it's early, but a lot of SHIPIT Nation logos towards the top of the leaderboard. Only day one, obviously, and a lot can change, but we're pretty on point so far, and we obviously hope it continues here over the course of the weekend. The one thing that you and I both talked about before the show, and actually we were talking about it as it was happening this morning on a call. We kind of get our morning call in, you and I, most days, talk some business, shoot the shit a little bit. And it's when all these dudes were struggling on the course, and the scores were massive. I mean, bogeys, double bogeys right out of the gate for a lot of these guys that teed off early. And then it seemed like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, it kind of calmed down, and people started knocking in some birdies and whatnot. But I don't know, like in terms of round two, like, can we really play these guys going off early? I mean, it was rough out there. I mean, it was very rough. Everybody was making bogey, double bogey right out of the gate for a while. Again, then they all kind of turned it around, but it was a rough start for a lot of guys right out of the gate. So I think that's definitely a very important talking point in terms of the split on the scores. It looks like the afternoon played like a little bit easier, and it was only like 0.3, I believe, is what you said, strokes. So
Yeah.
that could like strength of who teed off on which side, but something with that morning was a little off.
Yeah, and I will say that too. Like it ended up, I think it was 0.36 or whatever it ended up being, 0.31. Either way, it's interesting because it came down as well. So what it actually looked like was the sort of that range of just after the first hour and a half to the guys that also went off early in the afternoon. As it got later in the afternoon, everyone besides EVR, of course, and a couple other dudes, it ended up sort of shaking out that it was that range of guys that you wanted to pick up on. So we're still going to stick to that. Our guy Nick out there says, got to let that dew melt. Might be the case. Yeah, definitely going to check that out. We're going to look at it when we go through it. I've got the tee times up. We'll go through that. My guy Bill Case has been thinking about a membership for a while after watching DGEM, would like to try out the Solver and step up my game. Solver, obviously an additional add-on, but we are going to be using that today to show it real quick. We'll get the marketing out of the way fast. I do want to note one thing, though. Everyone always gives us some shit for this marketing. One, it's not going to stop. We're going to keep talking about it. But just to go back here, I think it's set up that way. But if you go to affiliates and go to register, we actually have it set up, again, different than almost anybody else out in the industry. I think one other site has it, but they don't talk about it. But if you do love what's going on at SHIPIT Nation and you do want to promote this or let your friends, family, people know on X, social media, whatever, you can go under affiliates right on the site, go to register, sign up, and you can get 20% recurring revenue affiliate income. So if you get somebody to sign up at $69 or $58 or whatever it is, you get 20% of that, and it carries over for every month that they stay with it. So you could end up paying your own membership for free that way. Hoop, you mentioned earlier the PGA only memberships. I think we got them up here. If you just want to try it out for a week, $14. You want to try it out for a month, $39. You want to try it out for the annual, it's around $24 a month, so less than $1 a day. But Hoop brought up this code earlier just the other day. We have a contest going right now. If you sign up for any membership, those were just the PGA only. You could do all access as well. Use the code HOOP15. Not only will you get 15% off, but you'll also get put into a draw for a $555 ticket that we'll be giving away next week. And just to give you guys an idea here, like if you go to PGA, we're talking Showdown, there's projections, the slate plan, which has the core plays, as well as the tier rankings with Hoop and myself. We'll show off the stone in a second from our guy Degenerate 75, but even the projections updated all the time, ready to go. This is as of yesterday. Again, they'll go in for tonight, and then they get pushed to the Solver where we're headed next. But you get, it's the players, the salary, the projection. Then we have ceiling projections, the ownership projections for Showdown specifically. Again, sweaty tryhards, got to have it. And then if you haven't checked out the stone yet, this tool is the Stone Nuts. That is, you can go in and see it. Again, this is last week's just to show you guys from round 4. But if you remember last week, Cantlay and X were up there. So you see the ownership is purely adjusted based on where people are going in that final round. You've got the player. You've got their prices, both sites. You've got their ownership, their tee times. It's no different for today. If you want to know the hot tee times for tomorrow with the weather, you're going to want to get on to shipitnation.com and get the stone. You've got everything else going on. Last round score, projection, ceiling, equity, as far as win top 5. This is for round 4. It might be a little different, but then there's a lot of stats. I know a lot of people looking for stat sites, but you can see it across the board. Lots more that comes with that. So check it out. ShipItNation.com. We'll end it there. Hoop15 gets you 15% off. You want to check it out. If you guys want to see, and CG asked, does that 20% apply to annual? That's anything. So again, it's not 20% off. we're saying you would earn 20%. If you get somebody to sign up for the annual right now with Hoop 15 and they get it for $509, you're going to make over $100 when they purchase that. Yes, we give it all back to you. That's how it works. It's just a good deal across the board to set you guys up. Hoop, let's talk about it. This has the tee times up. If you guys haven't seen it before with the solver, this is our partner. You get involved with it. The projections, when they're ready, will show up here. It says not ready yet. But as of right now, we are on Showdown. We are on round 2 at the Mexico Open, and we are going to go down tier by tier like always. We're only 10 minutes in. Hope to get out of here 30 to 35-minute shows is what we're thinking. A little bit as the season goes on, we'll see how that plays out. But bigger fields, different things like that, always changes it up a little bit. But you'll see the tee times here. They are, I believe, in Eastern time. So like Steven Yeager goes out at 7:30 local tomorrow, but it shows 8:30. That's fine. But just so you guys know that as we go through it, you'll see the tee times for everybody tomorrow, the projection, the ownership. These will be updated when we update our projections. And then there'll be ceiling. It'll show you the point per dollar. If you just ever want to sort it by that to find out who some of the value plays are throughout, you can optimize it. You can change your settings. You can make rules, whatever it is you want to do. It's all in there. And then shout out to our guy, Nick Catt. Nick is the member that is going to be sponsoring the $100 single entry ticket, which will go to a member. And then on top of it, the 1-month membership beyond the one we gave to Stewie off the top for a new member for all access. That's all 8 major sports that we carry. Hoop, any other thoughts, grand scheme overview before we hop into these tiers?
No, ready to roll.
All right, we're starting up top. Members will notice on the site that when we're talking about it through our slate plan, the way the pricing was set up, and we switched this up a little. We used to do a player pool. As the season goes on, we just decided, it's only a little bit in right now, but the player pool wasn't super valuable. A lot of people playing 1 to 3 or 5 lineups or whatever. So we wanted to have it set up where we cover both Hoop and myself, giving you our top plays within those ranges. And then, of course, the Stone is going to do all the work. If you're creating a player pool for MME and you're a member and not using the Stone, I don't know what to tell you. That's the way to go. That's the main draw. The projections, the ownership, all that is on there. So you're tying together 2 things. If you're not a member and you don't have that, that's why you're seeing more SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. You should get in, use the code Hoop15. But we separated Hoop. We did Keith Mitchell up to Tony Finau. Let's do that here as well. Just because it's, again, if we were doing 10K and up, there's only 3 guys. Let's talk Keith Mitchell all the way up to Finau. You see the tee times. What's your thoughts here within this range?
Yeah, so again, the one thing is, what are we doing with the tee times? Do we think it's going to be like an even split with how it plays? Because I kind of do. I don't think there's necessarily advantage. The only thing that definitely does stick out in my head is those early tee times, and why did those guys play so bad today? So I'm a little cautious, which does suck a little bit because I like a lot of these guys that are going off early. Steven Yeager, he's a guy I want to be on all week. I was big on him in the main slate. He tees off early, a little bit below this range, but Patrick Rogers tees off early. So I'm still going to play guys like Yeager. He's the only one in this range that has that super early tee time. I'm going to still be on a guy like Yeager at 97. I don't know. Maybe they learned something today, and maybe they're a little bit aware. They have to be cautious on these big par 4s to start out. I think the first and second hole, long par 4s, and I know the 10th as well is a pretty tough hole. So, Finau, you're going to be able to play him all week. He's going to have big rounds. I think he's clearly in play. Højgaard looked solid. He's 11,000. Definitely interested in him. Griot's the one I really wasn't on, but he got a price discount now. He was 11-1 on the classic slate. Now he comes down to 10-1. Does have moderately early, so he's at 903. So not a super early one. I don't know how much I'll get to him. Olsen, I didn't play much of him on the main slate, but 9,800, shot the 500 today. Interested. I already talked about Yeager. Can Pendrith bounce back? He is one of those guys that went off super early today, went off super early and found trouble right out of the gate and never found it. I think I can go back to him. I imagine the ownership should be pretty low on him. And then Killer Keith, another guy that went off early, and he got to 4 over right out of the gate. And it was a disaster, but he did battle all the way back for us. So I do like Keith Mitchell as well. So like a lot of these guys, in this range, we don't have the 5K range. They went back to the normal standard pricing where 6K is the floor price. So it might be a little bit harder to get to a guy like Finau. Does the fact that we don't have the 5K guys keep Finau's ownership in check, keep Højgaard's ownership in check? It potentially could. I want to be big on those guys. So this is a range I do like. I anticipate getting exposure to a lot. Keith Mitchell and Pendrith, because of their scores, could potentially have their ownership come down a little bit. So, in this range, Grillo is still going to be probably my least favorite. And then I'm going to try to get at least a decent bit of exposure to the rest of these guys in this range.
Did you see, I know it's in the next range, but just it's so close. It's 100 away. And Nick just asked, do you see Thomas Dietrich today?
Yeah, that was painful because I liked him on the Classic, and those teams are dead at this point. 7 over. Like, what do you do? Did he do something crazy or just a bunch of bogeys? Obviously.
This is what's wild about it. Nick asked it. That's why I brought it up. It's pretty funny though. But if you go look and actually do the deep dive on it, not only is he 7 over, not only did he only make one birdie, he made par on all 4 of the par 5s. So it's not even like mistakes on those. He made big mistakes and then also made par on all those holes. So just wild stuff with him. But, I echo your thoughts up top. I think just in the sense of some of the guys you're looking at, Rio dropping $1,000, being a little bit later within that tee time. I think it's definitely possible. If I just go pull up his stuff real quick, which is what I usually do on these shows, is try and pull through what I'm seeing. He still made 5 birdies. He still had a streak. There was only 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 holes that he lost slightly on approach. And then he still left 2 of the par 5s out there on top of it. So I actually have interest in Grillo here. I think, again, just going back to it, that is another thing. And I know it was in the slate plan. I know that DGen definitely nailed this on his show when he talked about it, was everyone was bombers. If you look at the leaderboard day and people are like, I don't know if it's the good guys that came out to play or if it's just the waves or whatever it is, people are having a hard time figuring it out. Anybody that was good with their long irons and had great approach ended up being in the mix. It was a lot more of a risk versus reward. You can look at the pin placements and see that. It was people were taking shots at it, and the ones that had their approach game dialed are the ones that came through. There's bombers up there, of course, all kinds of them. I'm saying, but that's the case of where you're still seeing other guys that maybe don't bomb it out there as much. So just one note, I could see that. I don't see, I'm not going back to this guy. We'll get there in a second. I don't care about that. Like, again, if it's that bad, I just don't see it personally. Yeah. So again, you'll get him, or he could situation here, maybe, but I just don't see it. It's very bad.
It's rare you see a guy bounce back like in that big of a way. Yeah, if someone's like 3-4 away from the cut, yeah, they can battle for you in round 2, but like to make the case that this guy shoots 8 under after shooting 7 over is just it's too rare for me to chase it. There's no way I would do that.
And I'll say more on that in a second. Actually, we'll go to it. So Grillo for sure, and Nick brings it up. A few bad shots. Bogey could see him going. Yeah, he can definitely do something tomorrow. I definitely could, find a way with him. I don't love that Jaeger has one of the earliest heats. I think he's the first one off in the morning. But man, just going back and looking at him too, 5 birdies, a streak, left 3 of the par 5s out there, pretty dialed on approach. Had 1, 2 bad holes that really cost him. And it's just like, again, I don't know, maybe tomorrow's the weather's almost identical. So, you look at it from that perspective, it kind of sucks. But even if he can, scramble through these first couple of holes and then pick it up from there, I'm still going to take some shots on him. I like him. So I'm going to stick with him. After that, not too much for me up top to talk about. I do think your point about not having the 5K range will change some things up. More people targeting, whether it's early morning or just like you said, that wave of sort of after the first hour and a half, 2 hours, it'll still leave guys like Finau and Hogard a little bit more out of it. Now they'll still pick up ownership because they're playing well and because guys want to go to it. Finau wasn't great, but 2 under on the day. He's still easily accessible here that you can get to him. And then Hogard 3 under, but had an eagle, left some par 5s out there, 3 birdies total beyond the eagle. So I definitely could see that. Let's go to this next range here. I'll scroll it down just so you can see. We'll go 8,500 to, or sorry, 80. What do we say? 8,400 to
94 to 94 85. Down to 85. Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. Just the way it sets up. I already looked at this before, so I'm going to stick to that. But I do want to talk about the Dietrich thing again for a second because I don't have interest. I understand the tee time. People are going to see it and maybe like him in there. But this would be where, I think DGen talks about it all the time. Other people do as well. We've definitely had conversations around it. Chasing a really good round with a guy like EVR, right? So first of all, that's not very likely. You see 2 really strong back-to-back rounds like that. So if you go to EVR, the guy was lights out, right? I know people are talking about the birthday narrative. I think he turned 34 yesterday. You've got gained almost 4 strokes on approach. He did have the 1 bogey, but still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birdies, 2 eagles, the chip-in eagle. We were talking in the chat earlier. I know I was teasing. I said just variance, but he made a 33-foot putt He chipped in for eagle, but he also left some 5 and 6 footers out there. But let me ask you it this way. Would you rather, like, it has to be the same, Dietrich the other way, of him bouncing back, as it is likely that, Van Rooyen goes out and has another huge round. So would you rather chase EVR and just say, yeah, he's probably not going to do that again, but he could still do well, and he's only 9,100? Or would you take a shot on Dietrich at almost no ownership? Which would you prefer?
Easy, Dietrich. I mean, EVR is going to get ownership because of the big boy round that he just had. Dietrich is going to get no ownership. And I'm not endorsing the Dietrich play by any means, because I'm not playing his ass. But if I'm deciding between the two, sorry to our boy Marley. He said he's got the whole family watching, so I apologize for the swear word there. Hopefully the kids can get the earmuffs on. But it's an easy decision between Dietrich and EVR if you're deciding. If you're going to decide on one of those two, I'd definitely go with the no ownership on Dietrich. But again, I'm not playing either of those guys, and I feel good about it. Like Dietrich 7 over, no thanks for me. EVR 8 under. I mean, some of the ownership's going to follow because of the great score today. Just be off in this range. Seems very clear to me. Like the upper range, I liked a lot of those guys. This range, I don't like as many. So that's why I know I'm going to be able to get access to that upper range and play a lot of those guys, because I'm going to be fading more in this 9K range. Not playing Dietrich, not playing EVR, not playing Brandon Wu. I faded him on the main slate, and I'm not going to play him in this round. Same as Mackenzie Hughes. Similar to Dietrich, 6 over, 0 interest going there. So I have fades in this range that I feel good about. Davis Thompson, I have a good chunk of him on the main slate. So for me personally, I don't necessarily need to get to him at 1 under. And I do that. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I do. If I know that I have a lot of a guy in a main slate and I don't necessarily love him for a showdown slate, I'll just pass. Like it's like a natural hedge situation almost. And with Thompson, I have enough of him. He's on the borderline to make the cut at 1 under. If he does well, great for my showdown or my main slate teams. If he doesn't do well, then I don't have him in showdown, and others will. So no EVR, not a ton of Thompson, no Brandon Wu, no Mackenzie Hughes, all fades for me. Patrick Rogers is going to stay on him. He's one of those guys that seems like when he gets it going, he can just keep it going at an event. And I think he does continue to have success. He's not all the way up there at the top. He's 5 under, 7th place. Good with him. Staying on Jake Knapp for sure. One of my favorite plays on the main slate. Shot the 4 under today. I think he continues. Mark Hubbard, you guys know the story with me and Mark Hubbard. I have a thing for Mark Hubbard, and I just can't fade the guy, especially in this field. Our guy Rio, 8,500, shot a solid 200 today. I will stay on him. And that is the end of this range. So really like the guys I like in this range. Rogers, Knapp, Hubbard, Rio, and really don't like the other guys in this range. Dietrich, Van Rooyen, Brandon Wu, Mackenzie Hughes, and then, I'm 50-50 on Thompson. So it's a clear range for me what I'll be doing here.
Yeah, got to get those likes going, guys. Almost 150 watching, only 68 likes. A lot of people not clicking the like button, so help us out with that. That's going to be good and goes with the giveaways, right? We always like to do these giveaways, part of that. But Hoop, people know and they'll learn quickly. You and I have, similar styles sometimes and different the other. I got 2 disagreements in this range. One, though, you pretty much answered Nick's question, so thanks on that.
That's how I play the. And again, I kind of highlighted that, and that's not what everyone does. It's not the mindset that everyone has, but that's kind of my mindset. Like if I have a guy that's borderline that did decent, like is on that cut line after round 1, and I have a lot of him on the main slate. Like I don't feel the need to go there heavy in a showdown slate, because if he does well, great for my classic teams. If he doesn't do well, then I've dodged a bullet in round 2. So I do play the hedge game for sure in between rounds.
And that was the first disagreement, just friendly disagreement. I do strongly disagree on that one because it's 2 separate slates. And the reason I say that is because
certainly
in round 2, I still want to win all the money. I'm playing for round 2 is what we're talking about right here. And if Davis Thompson goes off in round 2, not only am I dead in round 2 because he was needed, he's a guy that you're going to just have to have, let's say, in this example. But then my classic teams aren't guaranteed shit, because even if he comes through for me, what if those are all 5 or 6? Or what if someone else screws those teams over? I'm now double screwed. It's not really. You are getting the reward of the hedge, so I don't disagree with you because he did his job. The problem is in a vacuum, like that's him. On the rest of those classic teams, you need the other 5 guys to come through, and that's the only reason.
Let me clarify. This isn't the approach I always take. it's only on the guys that I don't have a strong conviction on. Like I don't have a strong
Yeah.
conviction on Davis Thompson for round 2 tomorrow. I don't know. Like, do I like him? Maybe a little bit. Like he's not a guy that I feel super confident about. So in that scenario, I'm fine playing the hedge. If I freaking love Davis Thompson and I feel good that he's going to turn it around and, he just missed some short putts in round 1 and feel good about, the rest of his game, I'll go right back to him. So it's definitely situational, but if I don't have a strong conviction, which I don't on Thompson, I'm fine letting my classic slate teams carry the weight on that one.
And everyone says one of my skill sets, listening to other sharp players and being able to tune in off it. I will tell you guys, if you got your notebook out there, you're writing stuff down, whatever it might be, when Hoop doubles down on someone and goes against that and says, you know what, I love this guy. I don't even care about my main slates. I'm still going in on this guy. You might as well just lock button that guy. I've been friends with Hoop for a while. I've been doing these shows with him for a while. When he doubles down and goes against those points he was making, that's when you definitely want to be in, because for whatever reason, he's got a knack for it. That's the way that he finds success. He's done it in NFL. It's like in NFL when he hates a guy, but says, but this week I'm playing him. That's the week to play that guy. Trust me, it never fails.
Just think about how much money that strategy won the SHIPIT Nation community this year, like the Dak Prescott stuff. Well, what was it the one week? Najee Harris. Got on Najee Harris's peak game of the season. Yeah, the calls were on point for NFL. Yeah, the Dak rule. I like that. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. It's the Dak rule. I love that. That's exactly what it is. The Dak rule. It's a business decision.
Yeah, we like that one. Hey, it's worked out well. I like a lot of the other guys that you mentioned, so I won't go too much on that. But the second disagreement was I would actually still play EVR over Dietrich. And the ownership is probably, like you said, very solid in your favor on Dietrich. But I do think it's less likely that he bounces back and does anything crazy or cares enough off a bad round like that. And the thing about EVR, people say, oh, he can't do it again. First of all, if this was 2 years ago, people would hop all over EVR at 9,100. I think it'll be kept in check, if not a lot lighter than what we used to see, because now people think there's no way he does it again. And I get that, but he doesn't have to do 5 birdies, 2 eagles, and all this to pay off a 91. He's not 11-1 or 12K here where we're making a huge decision. He's 9,100. He still has a good tee time. He's absolutely friggin' dialed on approach. And again, he like our guy Bader Bear says, he left some out there. Now, you do got to make up the fact he made some 30-footers. He chipped in for eagles, all that. But I'm just saying, it's like when someone gains 4 strokes putting. Didn't we just do this last week with Luke List? He gained 4 strokes putting in the first round. He'll never do that again. Yeah, he probably won't. But then he gained like 2 the round after that and still was solid and needed in your lineup. So I look at it a little bit differently. And what excites me is a little bit about the fact that I think people keep him in check, because there's a lot of people that say, I'm not chasing that round. And I get that, but I'm trying to sort of zigzag in the middle there. And then they remind you of the Najee rule too.
That was good. That was a good call.
Good.
It was a good NFL season for the crew.
we'll get to this guy later. Old crystal ball, Del Soler. It really went solar. If you had a crystal ball and saw that round again after Mr. 57, everyone said it would be that. He definitely did the job for you there. Let's keep it going. Let's go down to 8,400 down to 7,500, starting with Michael Kim all the way down to sort of Goddard, Bjork, Carson Young. What are you doing here in this range?
Yeah, bigger range, obviously, since they eliminated the 5K golfers in round 2. I like a lot of guys in this range. Like Michael Kim's a guy I was big on the classic slate. I'll be staying on him. Ryan Fox, similar to Mark Hubbard for me, where I just kind of always am on Fox. I'll be on him. He had a pretty early tee time, and he's one of the guys that kind of avoided the disaster at the front end of his round, but did what he fell back to even. McNeely, up and down round, 8,200. I got to stay on him. I liked him a lot. I think, this price tag is way too low in this field. He could easily be in that 9K range the way he's been playing the last few weeks. I think he finds a big round tomorrow. One of my favorite plays, I think, on the round 2 showdown slate. Justin Suh, wasn't on him at all. I'm going to apply, you're going to hate me, but I'm going to apply the SH Kim hedge rule here, because I know we both have a lot of him on the classic slate. Shot the 1 over, was not great. I'll just let that ride. I'll let the classic stuff ride. I'm not going to be heavy on him for round 2. In on Gim, Aaron Rye, I'll continue to pass on. Cameron Champ can F off. Like, I don't care. Like, his 5 under, I know he plays well here. I faded him on the classic slate. I'll be fading him in round 2 as well. I hope people chase that because I think he's a terrible golfer. No on Hoffman, in on Toasty. Sam Stevens thing's pretty interesting. One of the higher owned guys, like on the classic slate, shot even, which, well, even actually is making the cut as of now. What is 60T63? Little bit of a price increase. Do people go back to him? I'm fine going back to him. He's been playing solid golf. Chesson Hadley, I think, is a great play tomorrow. He's a guy that excels on these easier type courses. It seems like he's better in these weaker type field events. I think he's a good play at 77. Vincent Norman, double R, your guy, 7,600, shot the 3 under. Johnny Vegas is one of these guys that has that very early tee time, and he fell apart. What happened? Did he find big trouble at the end?
Yeah, found some trouble down the stretch. People say ruined a good round. I think he still had finished even, right? Yeah, so
yeah, he's even, yeah. But he has the first tee time, so he's one of these guys that falls into that first tee time that has me a little bit. And those guys definitely have me a little bit nervous. I do have a lot of him on the main slate, so I could get away from him here in round 2 for that reason. Austin Eckroat, thinks a great play, 7,600, and I think that's about it for me in terms of guys that I do like. But there's some solid options here. Again, it's a bigger range because they eliminated the 5K range.
Yeah, this range has the dudes that I like for that tee time that we're sort of targeting, like Eckroat, Rye, Hadley. Those guys all sort of pop there, and then you could take your pick on some of the other ones. One note on SH Kim, just so we'll keep it moving. But SH Kim was, again, I know you got the hedge, but just look at it. He had a triple and a double, which hurt him. But other than that, 5 birdies, left a streak out there on either side, multiple potential streaks there that he could have had. So that's one thing I'll look at. And then 2 of the par 5s left out there, including the triple on 18.
Yeah.
So he still
and a
had
par 5 too. That's painful. Jeez.
Yeah, you can tell just that, the
triple and a double. Yeah, that's a good point. See, that's why I like doing these shows with you. Maybe I can come back on our guy Kim.
Most people would probably stay off him, but I just think that's one thing that I'll look at there. Well, what did Toasty do today? Who are some other guys that we're looking at here? Toasty ended up being +1 as well. 5 birdies, left 2 of the par 5s out there, and then just a bunch of mistakes. 4 bogeys and a double bogey. His stats were up and down. I'm not sure if he started on the front or the back, because if you look, his back 9, pretty solid. His front 9 was a few big mistakes.
He started on the front.
Really? Okay, so that's interesting about Toasty then, because Toasty's got sort of that nice, people will see it on the screen, he's got that nice tee time too, almost 9 o'clock local, and then because this is Eastern time, and then on top of it, his front, well, he made 2 birdies. It was most of his approach that's when his approach was off. On the back 9, he picked it up, left one of the par 5s out there. On the back 9, one on the front too. But just to say it, I definitely think there's a way to attack it here with adding him into the mix as well. So don't hate that. Storm and Norman, double R, the Viking, don't mind him. There's some guys in this range though, so I think this is what makes a lot of that work. So yeah, Ross, our guy Ross K, Toasty heated up towards the end. Toasty got roasty towards the end, as our guy D-Gen likes to say. So I like that call too. So this range, pretty interesting. The next one, there's a lot of guys in here hoop, and it's going a little longer than expected, but got her up down to 7K, and then we'll just lump everybody in the 6Ks, because 7K up to 7,500 range, 74. There's a lot of guys in here. So what's some of the guys in this range that you like? Oh, we got him, folks. We got him. How long do we let him go?
No, I tracked that one pretty quickly. Seg at 74, maybe. It does fall off pretty quick, man. I'm waiting for my guy Robert Mack to freaking do something, but an even par round, 73. I played him on the Classic just because I have some guys that I'm very loyal to, and unfortunately, he is one of them, but has not gotten anything going. Bramlett at 73, a guy I liked on the main slate. I'll be going back to him. Robbie Shelton's a guy that I played on the main slate, and you ever have one of those situations where you end up you didn't realize you played so much of a guy and he absolutely crushed. For me this week was like Robbie Shelton. You're on a heater when Robbie Shelton shoots 4 under unowned, and you have him on like a good chunk of your teams. That was the case for me today with Shelton. I have to reward Mr. Shelton, go back to him for round 2. So I like him. Novak at 72, shot the 5 under. He looked really solid out there. I can definitely go back to him. And then Patton Kizzire. I like Kizzire, or I don't know if I liked him. I played him on the main slate, shot 2 under. Harry Hall, 2 under. Interested in him. I mean, these are, guys that make a lot of things work in your lineup. This range is a range where if you are trying to get to that top, you're trying to play the Finaus, the Hogarths, you got to be on some of these guys. And I think we have some options down here, some comfortable options.
Yeah, Dylan Wu right at the bottom. He shot a 3 under on the day, but had 6 birdies. And he's the opposite of what I usually talk about. He took care of all of the par 5s. So I thought that was interesting. You brought up Shelton. He had 8 birdies, including 7 in a row at one point to get to that 4 under. He still had some bogeys and whatnot on the card, but he played very well. Ben Silverman shot a 1 or 2 under. He's there. Bramlett played really good. His tee time's sort of nice in there also. Some of the guys, like I guess I'm ready to get hurt. Like the chat mentioned it earlier with Smalley. I still like Smalley, right? He's the problem is like Smalley, Rogers, Jaeger, the guys that I like are all literally that very first tee time. But Smalley, 4 birdies, left definitely both sides of a streak out there, a par 5 and a par 3. Could have easily made one there. He left 2 of the par 5s out there, really strong on approach off the tee. Everything else except with the putter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes where he lost over half a stroke putting. So to Ross's point, just insane. What is Matt Wallace's price? Justin mentioned Matt Wallace. I thought he did. He might be like EVR. He went off.
He's 74, man.
Yeah, so gained over 2 strokes on approach, gained a stroke with the putter. Pretty solid across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birdies on the hole. Left 1, 2 of the par 5s out there and had multiple opportunities at a streak that he just royally messed up. So another guy that could go low, and he's got one of those early tee times, but it's not the very beginning of the day, I guess, right? Let me go check here just to see if I'm missing something here. Yeah, his tee time is pretty nice. 9:14. Maybe like what's going on? Did it switch to local now? Oh no, it's 8:14.
No, it's Eastern. Yeah, it's Eastern time.
7:30 tee times, and he's got an 8:14 one, so it's only 45 minutes. And that's fine. I think that's fine though, and that sort of rounds it up for me. Maybe Nate, Bobby Mack. I was going to tell you one thing real quick, and then we'll go. You could start looking at that 6K range, and then look for a winner for the 1-month membership. But Bobby Mack, just so you know, if you have interest still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birdies. And left 2 of the par 5s out there, not great overall, but he lost strokes on approach. There was 2 very bad holes that contributed to that. So just a note on that one.
Hang on, let me, let's see. Actually, yeah. So anyone, you post something in the chat. If you're not a member and, you're looking to potentially try it out, post something in the chat and we'll pick someone here before we get out. In terms of 6K range, there's a lot of options down here. And, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's good for the main slate because a lot of these guys down here that I was on for the main slate kind of went off, and they're probably going to get some ownership here for round 2, but I kind of want to stay with them. Like Higo, he shot 1 under. I'm interested in Higo. Like I played him on the main slate, interested in Showdown. Valimaki, I was very high on him for the main slate, got the job done. He's 7 under. I know he's 1 off the lead, but man, I'm gonna stay on him. Del Soler, 6,900, shot to 6 under. We liked him on the main. Going back to him, Stanger, is that his name? I played him.
Yeah, your boy Stanger. They were asking you about him earlier. You liked him?
Yeah, I liked him on the main or the classic slate, 6,700. No problem going back to me. Like a lot of these guys, not much difference between these guys and some of the guys in the 7K range. And this allows me to get to that top tier that I liked a lot more than the second tier. So I'm going to be down here quite a bit. No, I'm not going to Troy Merritt. I did play him on the main, but the guy you just had up, Dafu, another guy that I liked on the main slate. He was in the player pool. All these guys were in the player pool. So if you're not a member at SHIPIT Nation, Dafu was in the player pool. Stanger. Who else did I talk about? Del Soler, Valimaki, all in the player pool. So if you remember at SHIPIT Nation, you knew that I was on these guys. Dafu, like we talked about. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, Dafu, MJ Duffy, I think they call him. Like this guy goes off in Monday Qs all the time and just goes low. And Justin mentioned it here. If you go look him up, will you sort your stats or anybody who does that? They're going to see him way near the top. He had a bunch of birdies. Ended up gaining a ton on approach, a ton with the putter too, though. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birdies, left 2 of the par 5s out there, had a streak. So I guess he'll be popular at 6,500, but
yeah, and
definitely
that's the unfortunate part. It's like these guys are going to get some ownership, but man, I have all these guys on the main slate, and I think you were on a lot of them as well. I'm staying on them, and David Lipsky. I mean, the price tag has come up. I mean, he was like free on the main slate. He's one of those 5K guys. Shoots the 600. Like, and again, he's going to get some ownership, but I don't know. I'll stay on him. I don't care. The ownership can't be like a crazy amount where you have to, consider fading him. So I like a lot of these guys because I was on them in the main. I don't feel like I'm chasing, so I'll stay on a lot of those dudes I just mentioned.
Yeah,
and Lee Aldrich. Lee Aldrich was on him too. I mean, he was a featured guy in the value report.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. I think he had him right in there. Same with this is crazy. Real quick, just to switch it over. Lipsky says Lee is the man. So Lee writes this up every week. This is free. If you're not a member, there's nothing to sell here. Just go to PGA Value Report. You can see it right now still for free. And a couple of the guys, I mean, he's got Harry Hall, he had Del Solar, he's got Chappell was looking good early on, not great in the end, but then had Lipsky in there too. So Lipsky, Cristobal, and Harry Hall, some of the guys there that we're seeing that just look really good overall. I think you mentioned both, so I'm not going to go too heavy in here. We'll have it up over on the site. We'll have it in there. Did you find some winners for the prizes here? We need a member for the $100 single entry. And I like Chan Kim too, Justin. I do like him. He's definitely interested. Mispronounced. It's actually Biondi. I don't even know how to say Biondi. that guy, like it's for whatever reason Kevin's favorite guy right now. But we need a winner for the monthly membership. Who do we got for that one?
The monthly membership. I guess we got a lot of loyal supporters out there because it seems like most of the people in here are members, which we'd love to see. Let's see. Where's our boy? Cadfire. Not a member yet? Love to give it a try. All right.
I knew you were going to say him. I already had it ready. Cadfire caught fire and got the win. He's going to get the win, and he's got it. So Cadfire, reach out to us, info@shipitnation.com. Just got to screenshot your YouTube account to show us it's you. Otherwise, everyone reaches out and wants their free membership. They're saying they're you. So reach out. We'll get you set up tonight so you can get in on the action. We'll give you 1 month free all access. And then did you have a member hoop that for the $100 single entry?
Yeah, it's got to be our boy, the Wolf of Ball Street, the DAC rule. I mean, that was on point. So he'll get the 100.
Yeah, if you're creating content, you can get in on creating lineup. We'll get you set up there. $100 single entry. Reach out to me on the Discord. We'll get you all set up in there. Anything else, Hoop? Final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, make sure to obviously get on over to the website, check out all the content's going up, change up the format a little bit this week, kind of doing a tier by tier essentially ranking, and then we'll have our core plays up as well. All DGen stuff should be up very soon, and then make sure to tune into his show tomorrow and Saturday for round 3 and round 4. Great time to get over to shipitnation.com.
Kevin knows. Margarita time. We'll get out there. If you guys haven't yet done so, like Hoop said, it's up on the site there. You can see it now. We did update it. Projections are for DraftKings. You're going to get it all, including Showdown. We have round 1 through round 4 for Showdown projections and ownership. That's set up for that. The Stone Tool, round 2 through round 4, and then for the main slate. We just talked about the course fit rankings where our guy Lee sets those up. That had Lipsky in it and some of the others that are going off right now. The normal content for those that don't have time or aren't too heavy into the golf streets that just want to rely on guys like Hoop, myself, and the rest of our team, DGen, Lee, all the others that are just putting the work in, the sweaty tryhards, and then building it out. We've got more coverage there. Hoop and myself and Lee do all of these, including I do the slate plan, breaking down ownership, how to handle it, some roster construction stuff that people struggle with. And then we've got our Showdown content we just talked about. And then lastly, if you're just getting into PGA DFS, it's another thing. We talked about the affiliate program earlier, but Hoop and I both had huge weeks last week. So did many members. But if you want to get behind the scenes and pull the curtain back on what we think about when it comes to DFS, this course is 2 hours. It's a video course breaking down the process of playing PGA DFS. It comes with any membership that you sign up for. So even if you only sign up for the week and just want to check this out over the weekend, you need 2 hours. You can fast forward it or just pick your parts. But we've got the process, breaking it all down, sort of how we create our own, what our mindsets are, cash, single entry, 20 max, how to use tools, projections, ownership, building player pools, reviewing and analyzing your process. We talk about roster construction, weather, wave stacking, game theory, leverage, correlation, ownership. Is it overrated? This one is awesome because I'll tell you what, we've had, I think, including yourself, who just picked up a couple last weekend, but it's in Michigan this year, your home area. And we've got at least 7 or 8 members that have already won seats to this Fantasy Golf World Championship. And it is a completely different beast when it comes to live finals and getting into it. And we talk about the satellites to get into them. If you guys have seen for the API and the players, huge contest called the Heavy Irons, I think it's called, and then the Mega Par 3, tons of satellites. You don't know how to play them, this course will teach you how. After you qualify, then what? Don't get scared, shaking in your boots, saying, oh, but I'm playing against all these big names and all this stuff. There's ways to beat these tournaments, and we talked to you about it. And then the Fantasy Golf World Championship, we break it down. I went through the actual 3-round play down. I was lucky enough to be there last year when my friend Todd went out to win it for the $1 million. So just to note that, how to attack the actual live final. And then, of course, you're here watching a Showdown Round 2 show. There's a lot of coverage in here on Showdown. And then any members Q&A, everything they asked us, we answered all of those questions as well. So if you guys aren't in yet, now's the time to do so. Go use the code HOOP15, get in on the action, join the nation. It's all there and more. You can choose whatever plan it is that you guys want. That's going to do it for this one, guys. For Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it.